right, this is Sampson, and so we're working on him in his separation anxiety. So what we want to do is be able to break everything down into small individual parts that have to do with leaving the house. Because remember that everything that goes into you leaving your ritual, putting your coat on, grabbing your bag, grabbing your wallet, any of those types of things can be triggers for a dog when they're having separation anxiety as to you leaving, which can already start to produce separation anxiety. So what we want to do, and the goal is here, is to break those down into smaller parts and work on them until those triggers are no longer triggering separation anxiety, and then we can just work on him being calm for increased durations over time. So what we're going to do is do this in 3 phases, just to remind you of those smaller steps that we're taking to help him work through this. So we're going to go ahead and start by putting the blankets on the couch, which is part of the normal routine, and then the guardians will grab their coats and their bags, and then they're going to sit back down on the couch. Okay, go ahead. And again, this is part of their ritual. So before the camera was rolling, we went through this in little tiny parts where at first the guardians were only putting their coats on, no bag, nothing else, and that was it. And then they'd come sit back on the couch. Then we included having them put the couch blankets on. And then we included walking towards the door. So we did a bunch of these things already off camera in smaller and smaller steps, but I just want to remind you of going through these steps by highlighting that in the video. So now they're just going to come over when they're all done and sit on the couch. And notice things I want to point out in the camera so you can watch Sampson is notice that he stopped playing with his toy. He's been consistently playing with his toy. And he's kind of a little more nervous now. He's over here with his guardian and he's kind of checking her out like, okay, what's going on? So he's being a little more anxious. However, he's not whining or crying or pacing or doing anything too extreme, but he is noticeably looking a little more nervous about what might be occurring if they're going to leave. But any type of behavior like this, like sitting or playing with his toy, are all good signs that you've got the green light to keep going forward and increase the difficulty level of you leaving. All right, so what I'll have you do next is go ahead and take your coats off, the couch blankets off, and then sit back down on the couch. Signals that you want to look at to say that he's getting too anxious is if he starts whining, crying, barking, pacing, especially if he starts to kind of like run around the house, or if he starts doing behaviors that look like he's looking for you. Those are all things that you want to be looking for as signals that he's starting to get too anxious at that difficulty level, and you want to make things a little easier for him. Okay, putting the blankets back in. Perfect. So go ahead and take a seat. Now, one thing I want to point out is now that they've noticeably put things back to normal, he's already playing with his toy, and that's excellent. The first time we did this took a little while for him to go back to playing with his toy. This is a great sign saying that he's very comfortable and he's ready to move on to the next step. So usually we have been sitting here longer in between these intervals, but for brevity of the video, we're just going to go ahead and go back to the next step. So this time what the guardians will do is put on their coats and grab their wallet, keys, purse, put the couch blankets on, and then they're going to walk out the door and go about halfway to the street.
Okay.
Other tips while they are doing this that for video's sake is remember that when you're leaving and coming home, not to make a big deal out of it. You want to make sure that you're just kind of keeping things nice and calm, especially if you were to be excitable when you come back through the door. You don't want to make eye contact or pet him or give him really any type of attention until he's nice and calm. That way he learns that calm behavior results in getting attention and love and affection, and the anxiety that he feels when you leave and then possibly when you come home is not going to get him what he wants, which is attention. So he can start to kind of make a change for that for himself. Perfect. Go ahead, you're all set. Excellent. So notice how his tail went up a little bit when they came back in, which indicates just that he's a little bit more excitable. But he's going back over to his toy or to something that he's playing with. I think it's some type of bone for him. But he has something that's for him, not taking anything of the guardians, and he's nice and calm. So he was able to stay calm. He did keep his eye on the door, but he didn't go into any other type of anxious, anxiety-like behaviors while they were gone. So that was a great indicator that he is doing well and that they're not going too far and not too fast with this exercise. So now we're just going to do this one more time just to increase the difficulty level. And then from here on out, we're just going to increase duration. So